started today. We are now on part 2 of our DPA presentation with Laura. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, Laura, all yours.
All right. So I'm just going to recap the basics of how all of the programs work, and then I'll jump into where we left off on the individual city programs and county programs. So there's programs available on the city, the county, and the state level. So most people, if they fall within certain income limits, probably will qualify for more than one program. And what we can do, and I can help you do, is show them for how many they qualify for, and we can show them side by side to see what's going to be the best fit for them. Assistance, it comes in the form of loans, grants, or tax credits. And loans are generally in the form of a second mortgage with a very low or no interest rate, and the payment is deferred or it's forgiven over the years as long as the borrower remains in the home. Each program is a little different, so we just let them know that, well, when we qualify them, what the particulars are for the programs that they can qualify for. Some of the loans have what's called a shared appreciation feature, and we're seeing that more and more. And that's where the homeowner pays back the original loan amount. And this is for the programs that give you a higher amount of assistance, plus an average of about 20% of appreciation in the value of the home. Initially, their reaction may be, oh my God, that's 20% of my money. But I always flip it around and say, yeah, but you get to keep 80% of something you probably wouldn't have been able to save up in a couple of years. So it's a great feature, but we'll go over that. Next slide. So here's an example of shared appreciation, which is the one that that people sometimes have a hard time kind of understanding. So let's say that they buy a house for $500,000. We provide a first mortgage of $400,000, and then they receive a down payment assisted loan of $100,000. In 5 years, if the home is worth $640,000, the house is appreciated by $140,000. So that's a pretty good amount for 5 years. What they have to do is they break it down. The owner keeps $112,000 of that appreciation, and then they give back $28,000 to the agency that helped them out. So it really helps if you show them how much they're receiving versus how much they're giving back to the partner that helped them to get into this home. So I just kind of emphasize it's a partnership, and it's kind of the fee you pay them for subsidizing you to begin with. Next slide. So every program has income limits, and that would be the maximum. And in some cases, they have a minimum amount that a household or the people applying can earn to be eligible for assistance. Some of the programs look at the income of everyone in the household that's over the age of 18, and some of them look at just the income of the person that's applying when they're determining if they're eligible. And the difference between the two is applicant income is just the person that's applying. So if you're applying with your spouse, and even if you have 5 grown children and your mom and dad living there, they're only going to look at the income of the 2 people applying. And the household income is they're going to want to see the income of every adult in the house, even if they're not on the loan. So if you're caring for your parents and they receive Social Security income or a pension, they're going to count that towards their income limit. Not going to be on the loan. It's not going to be counted towards qualifying, but only for the eligibility for the program itself. And if anybody has any questions, just let me know. And the next one. So household income. These are just some examples of what they consider. And sometimes people don't think about this as being income, even if they don't use it on the loan. Some people have child support that they don't want to count, or maybe we can't count it because, or some sort of income because they won't be receiving it for 3 years, or maybe it's brand new and they don't have a history of it. The agencies will still count it. So they're going to look at the wages, at overtime, royalties, interest if they have some savings account. They're going to look at if they're receiving some sort of workers' comp, welfare assistance. Sometimes people don't count that, but the agency will look at that. So a pretty good list for you to keep on hand of what the agencies may count. And again, I'm always available to help you if you have any questions or need to kind of have a second set of eyes on this. Next one, Megan. So people always ask me, well, how will they know? How are they going to know, if I'm making extra money, if maybe I have a business selling stuff on the side and I don't want to count that because it's going to knock me out of the program. They know because they're going to look at 3 to 6 months of your bank statements. When we submit the file, they're going to go back and they're going to ask you, well, what's this deposit? What's that deposit? A lot of people have a lot of Zells that are coming through now. Either they have a reimbursement from someone or, they're selling stuff online. So then we have to explain all of that. So it's good to gather a lot of their statements and kind of pour through them and take a look. We're already kind of used to doing that anyway to see if they have any other debts. And as far as income calculation, we, as the lenders, are generally pretty conservative when we calculate the income. So we take the lesser of if they're doing overtime. The agencies will generally take a look at, let's say they had a really, really good month around the holidays is a good example. People work a lot of overtime because it's busy. What they'll do is they'll look at the last 3 months and say, wow, you're making a lot of overtime. They're going to project that out instead of, being logical about it really, that it's a holiday season or a one time. So they're going to project it out. And so they're going to take the possibility, like if they have a big bonus, but they only had a big bonus for 1 year, they're going to say, well, probability is that you're going to have this bonus, for the next couple of years. So again, if you need help with the income, be more than happy to help. Applicant income is the agencies that just look at what the applicant is, the people who are going to be on the loan, not the whole household. They're a lot more lenient. They're just going to use the income that we use. So we don't have to worry about that, which is a lot easier. They just get the file and they look at what the underwriter approved and they go with that. All right. So we're going to jump down to where we left off on the particular programs, the individual programs. So the Santa Ana one, I think it's slide 16. So the city of Santa Ana has a really great program. They offer up to $120,000 down for down payment and for closing costs. It's a silent second, 0% interest. It does not have equity share, but it does have to be paid back. It's due after 45 years. So they have a long time to pay it off. That's also due if they sell the house or if they turn it into a rental property. A good feature about this one is that if you graduated from a high school in Santa Ana and have a 4-year degree, you're eligible for loan forgiveness up to $40,000. They also have some forgiveness for veterans too. But you don't have to live or work in Santa Ana at the moment to qualify for this program. And Santa Ana does have some really good affordable areas for people who want to be in Orange County. Buyers do have to have 3% of their own funds for this program. So those that are clients that I have, I encourage them to start saving a little bit because they're going to want to see that they have 3% of their own funds. They do have to be first-time home buyers and they do not allow non-occupying co-signers. So they're very strict on that. This one doesn't have a minimum credit score. So if we get a DU approval, they'll run with it. And we could do FHA, we can do VA, we can do conventional. Their debt to income ratio is a little bit lower. Their maximum is 43%, but with $120,000, it's very workable. It's available for single families, for condos, townhouses, or PUDs.
No units?
No units, yeah. Most of these programs don't allow units because they don't want an income component added to it.
Thank you.
Cal FHA does, though. They do allow ADU, but not an actual physical second unit. I guess an ADU is physical, but you know what I mean? It's not a duplex. Next slide. Here are the income limits. So they have 2 tiers to this program, which I like. They have a low income limit and they have a moderate income limit. So the moderate one is pretty generous. If you fall into the moderate income category, the assistance is up to $80,000, not $120,000, but it's still a pretty good amount. And this program does qualify by household income, so they're going to look at the income of everyone in the house. So for a family 4, they can make up to $126,000 and still qualify for a pretty big chunk. This one is a homeownership program. It's HOP, and it's good for a lot of cities in LA County and for the unincorporated areas. And they also have a low income and a moderate income component. So they offer up to $100,000 or up to 20% of the purchase price, whichever is less. And the assistance is a silent second, 0% interest, so there's no payments, and they have that shared equity component. So when the time comes to pay back that money, then you also pay back, part of your equity. But again, we show them, how much they keep as opposed to how much they're giving back. This one, they only have to have 1% of their own money, but it can't be gift funds. It has to be their own money that they've saved up. They do have to be first-time homebuyers and no non-occupying co-signers. Same thing with this one, SFRs, condos, townhouses, or PUDs. And they have, for being one of the larger programs, they have a higher debt to income ratio. So 50% on conventional, as long as we had a DU, and then 55% for FHA. Their minimum credit score is 620, and they're looking for household income. So again, these bigger programs kind of look at the household income. And on the next page, here are all the cities that participate in this program. And so it's a pretty good city. Now, some of these are it's hard to find affordable homes in these areas, like San Dimas, Manhattan Beach, but, technically they are eligible for the program and also for the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles. The next one, City of La Puente. They offer up to $200,000 for down payment and closing costs. Now, right now, they don't have any funds, but they're due to renew in the next couple of months. But it's a good one to have on hand for people who want to search in La Puente. It's a silent second. Again, 0% interest, no payments, and they have that shared equity component. The buyers have to come in with 3.5% of their own funds. So again, we want to have them try to start to save up. This is one has a lot of interest in it because of the amount of down payment. Do you have to be first-time home buyers? No cosigners or no non-occupant cosigners. Single family, condos, townhouses, PUDs. Their maximum debt to income ratio is 45%. So it's a little more conservative, but they're offering some more money on that. This is one of those few programs that actually has a minimum income limit. So depending on the household size, they want to make sure that the people can afford, that they're comfortable with the payment. So on here it shows you if you're a single person applying, you have to make more than $70,650, but you can't make more than $103,150. So it gives you a nice little comparison there. And next one. So I think most of us have seen a lot of emails from our partners, our lending partners, and there's a ton of FHA 3.5% to 5% assistance programs. Part of it is a loan, part of it is a grant, depending on who we reach out to. The grants are fully forgiven. They usually are forgiven within 3 to 5 years. And they also have an option where they have a second where they have to make payments on it. But the rate is a little bit lower if you choose the loan option as opposed to the grant. But it's something that's available because we have the 3.5% will help with the down payment. And now the extra 2%, if they go with a 5% assistance, can help in case that they need to pay for their agent's commission. So this will help out. And then they'll just have to have their closing costs. But this will kind of take care of that extra part with the agent commission. And it can be used for down payment, for closing costs. Minimum credit score is really good at 600. They do allow cosigners, non-occupant cosigners, which is awesome. And you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer. So you just can't own another property at the time, but you don't have to be a first-time homebuyer. It does allow gift funds, and there's no income requirements. So these, I'm starting to look into using these a little bit more because they are a bit more lenient. The rate might be just a tiny bit higher, but if we have somebody that needs a cosigner, this is an excellent option for them. And I believe that was the last one. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions at all, I can go through scenarios with you. I'd be more than happy to look over the income for your client, kind of guide you on what's available. It's once you start really diving into the requirements, the next one will be easier. It'll be easier. So I'm here to help out. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you very much, Laura. Do you guys, anyone have any questions at all?
Not right now, but the next scenario, I'm going to call her.
Awesome. This recording will be up hopefully by end of today, if not for sure tomorrow. And keep an eye out in your emails. You guys are going to start receiving weekly trainings that we have for every week on Sunday. So it'll include not only the trainings that we have here, but also trainings from Jesse, Leo, Joseph, Casey. So please keep a lookout for that this weekend. And thank you again, Laura, for your time. We greatly appreciate it and all of your information and help. And we will see you guys all on Monday. Hope you all have a great weekend.